we are going to use the microbit to make a basic calculator. The first thing we're going to need are two variables, number 1 and number 2. I'm going to select variables, and then I'm going to say set item to 0. What we'd like to do, however, is instead of item, we would like to rename this variable. So I'm going to call this one number 1. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but this time I'm going to create a new variable called number 2. What we would like is every time we press button A, we would like the number to increase by 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our input on button A. So if we press button A, we would like the variable, we'd like to change this, and not the item, but we would like to change number 1. So every time we press button A, we would like to increase the number by 1. And what we would also then like to do is we'd like to show this on our screen. And instead of using the show the number, which is 0, we'd like to use show the variable of number 1. Every time we now press button A, the number will increase by number 2. We are now going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. But instead of saying on button A, what we would like to say is we'd like to say on button B, we would like to change not the item, but number 2 by 1, and then we would like to show the number, but this time we would like the variable to be number 2. So if we press button B, which is our number 2, it will increase by 1 every time. The next thing we would like to do is create another input, but this time we would like to press A and B at the same time. Now what we would like it to do is if we press A and B at the same time, we would like the total to be displayed. So we need another variable, and I'm going to call my variable total. So rename this variable to the word total. And what we can now do is we can use a maths equation. So over here we've got addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, and I'm going to choose the addition, and in our variables I can say add number 1 to number 2. Oh, let's just get that. And just like before, what we would then like it to do is we would like it to show our answer. So if I show the number, the variable that we will now need to show will be the total. So how does this work? If I press A, I have 1, and if I press B, there's 1, and I'm going to press that again, that's 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press button A and B together, and it's now added number A and number B together. Of course, even though I've only used addition, you could make this into subtraction, multiplication, or division. Now that we have worked this out once, perhaps we would like to be able to do something that allows us to reset this. So what I'm now going to say is perhaps what we need to do is if we shake this, what then needs to happen? Well, we need to change and reset the numbers back to 0 again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say let's set which one? Number 1. Oh, let's move that a bit back to 0. I'm also then going to say we also then need to set number 2 to 0, And lastly, we also will need to reset our total as well. So I'm going to set our total to 0. So every time we now shake this, we can now start this again. And that's how we create a very simple calculator using our Microbit software.